Let's see what the I guess Tooth Fairy or Santa Claus or Easter Bunny or whoever brought. But I'm telling you what I brought. I'm bringing a discussion that is pretty much overlooked, just because I think uh, top dogs in the heavyweights and super heavyweights kind of want this subject to not really catch heat and not catch the public's attention. But I'll be the one addressing the elephant in the room, and that is the raw, sheer, tremendous, outstanding, whatever, I could go on forever, power of the lighter classes. I think this is heavily discarded, and I think what most people don't realize is just how small of a gap compared to what they think there is. I mean, yeah, there is between these weight classes. On one hand, I can also argue, and I did this in a lot of my previous videos, where I'm telling you why there's a reason for these weight classes and why it is so difficult for someone to up their class and whatever. This is not about saying, this is not me saying that you'd be surprised the guys in the lightweight classes could pretty much smash the fuck out of the super heavyweights. In some remote cases, that can happen. That's unfortunately not what I try to emphasize right here. What I'm trying to discuss, though, is the fact that the gap is not as big as you might think, and pound for pound, the lighter classes are a lot more powerful than the heavier classes. That's just a no-brainer, because let's say if you take like the world champion of the light or middleweight class, but let's say the lightweight division, if you take that guy who's at, let's say, for the sake of simplicity, let's take a 150-pound guy, and you compare it with one 300-pound guy from like the super heavyweights, their weight is double. I mean, the ratio is twice as much. It's it's two. While their power output is not at all following the same progression. You have one guy twice as heavy, but probably 10, 20, 30 percent on average stronger. Yeah, it might get into like the 50% range, but still, for the majority of the cases, if you want to take them one by one, it's almost never going to be like a 100% difference. So pound for pound, you'd be just surprised to see how powerful those guys are. Again, I'm not saying necessarily they can pin the super heavyweights, but they can give them a huge run for their buck, like a really good run for their bucks. So yeah, that's something that I already obviously knew, and I'm pretty sure everyone else out there knows. I'm just trying to bring this into the discussion because I don't see it being acknowledged or verbalized as much as it should be, in my opinion. And just as a small teaser, I'll be making a completely separate video for that topic, which is just making fun of myself and like walking you through my very first professional participation in at a national level tournament where I just got my ass completely whooped and yeah, I just got completely demolished as I knew, curiously enough, but doesn't matter. I'll make a completely separate video about that. However, what I wanted to say this time around was that it became even more apparent for me in that tournament, even more than I already knew, and I was super aware of this, but still I was having some minute remote hopes that, knowing my genetic power, and kind of like knowing my build and overall, other things here and there, I thought that probably I would have some slightly increased chances, because I was always at a very low body weight and stuff like that compared to my power output. So I thought if I just go a little bit more under the scale, and I can go from like my cruising weight to like one category down, which was very easy for me to do. But again, I'll address all of those things in that video because there's a lot more going into this. I thought I would get some extra advantage competing against guys that were 70 kilos minus, so under 70 kilos. I thought I would get some leverage. Bullshit. And not only that, but yeah, it's like I will talk about in that video. It is my firm conviction at this point that in order for you to be at your absolute peak, you should not even try sacrificing 1 or 2 pounds. The difference that it makes on your central nervous system is immense, in my opinion, and on your overall ability to recruit your muscle fibers and overall the biochemistry of your body without the weird stuff going on there. Just your water retention, motor, capabilities, and sodium and carbs and all those things playing huge roles. How well you're fed, how well you've slept, and all of those things play a huge part. So yeah, even trying to like cut weight or cut some water or cut some carbs plays a huge role in my opinion. So yeah, but apart from this, because like I said already for like the 5th time, I'll cover those things in that video. What I just wanted to touch upon was the fact that I was mentally devastated just seeing how much power those guys had, considering that for them, I mean, they were much, as you will see in the video, those guys were much shorter than me. I have like a very wiry build, unless you haven't noticed already. I'm kind of like 6'2", 6'3", so super tall. And back then I was like I was like in my 150 pounds range, and I dropped to like 146. At my height, that's completely unacceptable, but because that's where I'm normally located, I thought maybe I could gain some advantage. But like I said, I competed against guys who were like 5'6", 5'8", at that body weight, and they were like already beefed up, super trained guys who were reaching their genetic potential at that body weight. Obviously, yeah, they were also kind of slimming down for their category, but they were way into their normal levels. Whereas for myself, I was like far at the other end of the spectrum, which is obviously something that is never going to get you good results at all, as I very well saw. But yeah, being a trained naturally, I mean, being a guy who's normally walking around at 140, 150, shorter in stature, so that you don't have the disadvantage of not having enough tissue all around your frame, filling out your frame. Guys like those individuals who are just stocked and just jacked at like I said, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever. It's a completely different ball game, and the power output, and not just that, but also the explosion that they have is just very different compared to the explosion of the much bigger guys. I'm not saying they're more explosive. I'm just saying it's very different. It feels different. It looks different. It even sounds different. Whenever they're yelling or hitting, everything is just like, it has a completely different dynamic. And if you're one of the heavier guys into your heavyweights or super heavyweights, my sincere recommendation, I know you probably know this by now, but my sincere recommendation is every now and then, just to spike things up a bit, try sparring with the guys that are at a at least a national level champion or whatever. Try sparring with the guys at that level, in that lighter weight classes. I think you'd be surprised, and not only that, but it's a very good dynamic for your training, because it kind of puts you in a slightly awkward position, at least in the beginning. You kind of don't realize what's hitting you with such power, so you're kind of adapting your game just a little bit. So probably that's something that's worth incorporating in your training. So yeah, until next time, guys, just let me know what you thought about this, and if you liked it, hit it once. If you disliked it, hit it twice. Troll, share, hate, subscribe, unsubscribe, do whatever you think is best, but let me know what you guys think about this, and have you ever had such experiences being either taller or heavier and ripping up with someone who's on paper a lot inferior in one of these metrics, whether it's height or whatever, but mostly body weight, because we're talking here about weight classes. And let me know what you thought about that thing. Were you surprised in a good way, in a bad way? What was your overall takeaway from that whole thing? So until next time, let me know what you thought and what else you would like to see on this channel. Although I kind of had like a huge backlog of things that I just feel like ranting about, but I really want to engage with you guys on things that you want to see, if anyone's watching, because otherwise, it's just me with my own monologues. Yeehaw!